Hi, my name's Carol Thompson, and I'm here to introduce a new startup company in the medical supply industry. I call it Patient Comfort. Our mission is to provide efficient, effective, easy, and inexpensive solutions to the challenges currently being faced by patients and their caregivers, all the while helping to maintain the patient's dignity and comfort. I'm looking for an investment of $200,000 for 40% share of the company. My personal investment will be $5,000 plus my time and energy. So say you're diagnosed with a serious illness. Yes, you have a wonderful medical team, so you're getting great care. Your family, friends are helping you, they're supporting you, but the symptoms keep going. You are now having trouble swallowing. So the doctor says it's time to have a stomach feeding tube so you can keep eating. You go through the surgery, and when you're done, the nurse comes and shows you how to take care of that feeding tube. She tells you it's fragile, so you must take care of it. You must protect it. So when you do the feeding, then you clean it, make sure the area is clean, and then you use medical tape and just tape it to your body so it's secure. Then the next time you need to feed, you take the tape off, which releases the peg. Then you can do your feeding. You can, again, clean it, clean the area, and then put fresh tape on. So you're doing this 3 to 5 to 7 times a day, depending on how much food and medicines you need. As you can imagine, yes, the tape starts to hurt because it's all in the same area. And now you get skin rashes and irritation, and it hurts. And ultimately, you can even get infections, which is not uncommon with this method. So my husband had ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, and he got to the point where he couldn't eat anymore. So the doctor said it was time for his feeding tube. So after we had the surgery, the nurse came in and put this on him. See, it's just a stretchy tube. It's actually maternity underwear with the legs cut off. So she said, this is the way you do it. You move it out of it's around your body, holding the peg right next to the torso, and you do your feet, you push it aside, do the feeding, cleaning, and then just pull it back up again. So we didn't know anything about tape until we went to our next support group meeting. And there was another one of the patients, and he had just had the surgery. So he asked us, what are you doing for the skin irritation? Well, at that point we didn't understand what he was talking about until he explained to us about the tape. So we showed him what we were doing. He was so happy because they hadn't yet found a gel or cream to combat all the itching he was experiencing. So we were happy that we caught him before he started getting any serious skin problems. In honor of these two gentlemen, I now present you with the proposed product, the mesh band. It is a circular seamless band made of stretchy fabric, about 6 inches wide. It's washable, very simple to use, goes over the head, and is fitted specifically for the peg. So it's a little bit loose, but not too loose. It will be easy to move out of the way when you need to feed, and then just move it right back over top of it, so you slide it right back over the peg to protect it. And it's so simple that even I could do it, and I did do it for quite a while. So I know that it works. So let's look at the value proposition. It's a safe pocket for the peg. It fits close to the body, gives you easy access, easy on and off of the product over the head of the patient. There's no unpleasant side effects like skin damage. It is expected to last about 90 days based on a rotation of 2, meaning you've got one on the body and one in the wash. Really, washing is so simple. You just rinse it out in the sink, hang it up to dry, and then rotate it back in. So you can, if you want one every day, you might want to have more than 2. Our development on the product so far is that we have defined the product specifications, but we do need the funding so we can start manufacturing and testing and then patent the product to protect it. In general, in the medical supply industry, it's mature stage, so it's extremely competitive. There's growth and technical advances, but those are focused mostly on things that have so far been unsolvable or untreatable. This growth is predicted to be at twice the GDP over the next couple years, 3.5% versus 1.8%. As I said, it's highly competitive. There's over 6 1,000 companies currently, so they're consolidating at a rate of about 2.5% per year to service their large clients, the medical centers and hospitals. So by 2017, there's an expectation that it'll be about 5,800 companies, which is still large. The current two have market share of 6.4 and 5.9%, so you can see that it's highly competitive. And so most specialized by product line, by region, they find some niche. The demand is driven by the healthcare providers, so they determine what the treatments are and what products will be used for those. And then the patient is indirectly involved because they follow doctor's orders. The aging baby boomers absolutely makes a difference, because as the population ages, so must the medical treatments, and they must move on to take care of these aging populations. Now, when we think about how big the universe is of people needing feeding tubes, I can show you some numbers. In addition to the 30,000 people that suffer with ALS, there's about 700,000 who have strokes, 1.4 million with Crohn's disease, and then many others with various kinds of cancers that ultimately can result in a feeding tube. So if you look at this, this is a total of over 3 million people that have these diseases. We're looking to target 1% of them, or 30,000 patients, as our initial universe. Looking at these 30,000 patients who would purchase 2 units every 3 months, which is 90 days, our recommendation, that means 8 per unit per year. So 30,000 patients times 8 is 240,000 units. At the price point of $5 per unit, that's $1.2 million in revenue over the course of the year for just 1% of the people struggling with a feeding tube. To put a face to these patients, like my husband, he had ALS. He was male, in his early 50s. A wife and children, was just diagnosed with ALS about 3 years prior. Now he can't swallow and he chokes, so he has a feeding tube installed called a PEG. His wife is his primary caregiver, and the family rallies around because he needs 24/7 assistance. He does have good health care and, of all things, a military background. He was wheelchair bound, many are housebound, so their entertainment is internet, TV, movies, and they tire easily because it's just hard fighting the disease. So the only outside activity is usually going to support group, where you're with others who can help and share your pain. In addition to sharing your pain, you share the celebrations when you find other things that work and other workarounds and just celebrating life in general. Now, there's other people that have determined that this is not good to get skin infection in addition to all the other things that is happening to your body as you fight these illnesses. So 2 other caregivers have come up with solutions specifically targeted at the PEG. The first is this PEG tube management pouch. It costs about $19.95, and it's actually a little pocket that is taped to the body. The tape lasts several washings, so it's not as destructive as medical tape, but it still could cause some skin irritation. Another solution created by a concerned caregiver is the G-tube holder. It looks like a Velcro belt with a pocket attached. The catch with this one is that the belt slips, but it is also effective, but it costs $19.95. The PD security band was created for catheters, and this is the usage you can see demonstrated here. However, on its website, it says it can be used for the PEG. All of these solutions were created because somebody cared about the skin irritation and thought it was avoidable, just like we're looking at now. These solutions are good, but they're not known, so tape continues to be the product of choice. Therefore, for my marketing plan, I want to work through word of mouth based on my experience as a caregiver. We will be located in Phoenix, where we will introduce and test the product, then expand to the Seattle area, where I also have many contacts. Ultimately, we'd love to make this available throughout the United States, eventually international. Keep it simple and not overwhelming. After all, the people who know things best are the nurses that work day to day with the PEG tube patients. So we want to provide the initial units at the hospital. Therefore, hospitals would be one of our customers. Then once the patient understands how to use the mesh band, they would be issued 2 that they take home with information on reordering. This is our word of mouth strategy to get direct to the nurses. Then for existing patients who already have the PEG, we want to approach the different support agencies like the ALS Association, like the American Cancer Society, who provide training for nurses as well as trade seminars and conferences. And then we can even go to the monthly support groups just to reach the patients one by one. Ideally, the nurses will be the method of choice to get these out to the patients, and then direct to the consumer, the patient and the caregiver. In addition to the nurses, the support groups, hospice workers, they deal directly with the patient and they deal with people with PEGs. Nutritionists, also because it's about feeding. Home health care, they're the ones that come into the home for the 2 weeks after the surgery to make sure everything's going well and for further training. Bloggers, because the patient is homebound, they often check blogs to see how else everybody's doing things, and then the various support associations. Although we're a startup, which is risky, we have several key strengths. We have connections with key leaders in the ALS community, as well as hospice, both in Seattle and in Phoenix. We have a product that's better than what's being used right now. It's effective, inexpensive, easy, and I know from personal experience, it works. So we will be building networks outside the ALS community and hospice, and we are looking at having a strong advisory board that'll help us with product testing, networking with medical suppliers, and finding a reputable manufacturer. We will start with 3 initial staff. The CEO, who will manage operations, do a lot of troubleshooting, that's me. Then we're also hiring a sales manager who hopefully has medical connections. We'll be attending trade shows and going face-to-face, meeting people, especially nurses, and networking. The administrative assistant will be part-time at first, running the office, taking care of orders that come in online, phone, and email. Then our advisory board is our financial, technical, medical, and startup gurus. They're the ones that will help us make sure that we take care of business. Initially, the business will start in my garage. Then we will grow to a small office in North Phoenix, where we will take orders, take care of inventory, shipping, but we won't have a storefront because we don't need it. We will also sell to medical suppliers, and any large orders can be drop shipped straight from the manufacturer. GoDaddy.com provides an inexpensive website support for $20 a month, and Cox Communications has a wonderful business package. We also plan to contract for technical support. Therefore, I'm asking $200,000 for a 40% stake in Patient Comfort, specifically to launch the mesh band. We will break even in 2 years based on hitting the target of 30,000 patients. That will also double this $200,000 investment in year 4. But more importantly, it will help over 30,000 people avoid skin irritations and infections while they are fighting other diseases. Would you like to help? Because we really could use your help getting this started. And you will benefit, and you will benefit many others. Just one last thought. That Napoleon Bonaparte said that doctors will have more lives to answer for in the next world than even we generals. Think about it. With the aging population, with a minimum of 3 million people that risk PEG, don't you want to help? Thank you for your consideration.